Gopi Chanda Vallabha Girivaradhare Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachare Yamuna Tira Vanachare Yamuna Tira Vanachare Yamuna Tira Vanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtadasha Shishmadesi Bhaktirana Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtadasha Tirthandika Goswami Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Gaurang Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Dwaraka Dham Ki Jai Jangalpuri Dham Ki Jai Shri Shri Prahlad Lakshmi Narasimhadev Bhagavan Ki Jai Shri Shri Nitai Navadvipa Chandra Ki Jai Ganga Maya Munamai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Tulasi Devi Ki Jai ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol Samavita Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashta Putane Srimade. Dich? Aha. Ich wurde heute in der Früh angesagt. Ja. Govinda hat mich heute in der Früh angekündigt. Bei der Mangalarati. Warst du bei der Mangalarati dabei? Ach, da hast du das nicht gehört. Aber willst du hier sitzen bleiben? Du kannst auch gerne übersetzen. Ne? Okay. So, wir sprechen heute weiter aus der Bhagavad Gita. Herzlich willkommen alle. Heartily welcome everyone. Who does not speak German? 1, 2, 3. You speak German?
I understand.
Ah, you understand? Okay. 3, 4. You speak German? Oh, very good. So then, who does not? Wer spricht kein Englisch? 1. Okay. I think we speak in English. You agree, huh? Okay. You agree also? Good. Okay, we speak in English. Can I have then an English Bhagavad Gita, please? Oh, we are already in the chapter 16. Nice. That means in a Purushottamas, you were in chapter 15. And it is recommended in Purushottamas to read the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Purushottam Mas. And the 15th chapter is called Purushottam Yoga. And in the end of the 15th chapter, Srila Prabhupada explains that, thank you very much, it's very, very nice actually to understand this relationship. Yeah. That in the end of the 15th chapter, Srila Prabhupada explains our misery, so to say. Yeah, he explains what is the most important thing to become free of in devotional service. And so far it is not so long ago you heard about it. Do you or someone of you remembers maybe what Srila Prabhupada explains in the 15th chapter? What is the most, as a conclusion in the purport of the last verse, what is the most important thing that a devotee has to get free of in order to be successful in his spiritual life? Anyone has a guess? Huh? Please. Attachment. Okay, that is a good guess. Good guess. Can you think of a... Yeah, very good, thank you. Maybe something more? Comes near. It's very close. Why are you attached? What comes together with being attached to something? If you are attached to something, what also comes along with this? Huh? An expectation. Okay, good. Patrick?
Yeah, like the 4 principles, follow the 4 principles.
To follow the 4 principles, for the 4 regulative principles. Okay, very good. So what is the reason why one does not follow the 4 regulative principles? Weakness. Wow, very good. Very good, exactly. It is weakness of the heart. The most important thing one has to surmount is weakness of the heart. The first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. Thus one gives up the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord. The second weakness of the heart is that as one increases the propensity to lord it over material nature, he becomes attached to matter and the possession of matter. The problems of material existence are due to these weaknesses of the heart. The weaknesses of the heart are the reason for our material misery. These two weaknesses. What are the two weaknesses? Can you repeat? Huh? Weakness of the heart in the sense that we want to do what? That comes later. Weakness of the heart in the sense that we want to lord it over the material world, to lord it over, to control. And from this comes the weakness of being attached. So these two things, to control, to lord it over, to possess, mine, me and mine, I have everything under control, and then after that, I have under control, I can manage everything, becoming attached to it. It's mine. I don't want to give up because I have it under control. Yeah. So these two things are the weaknesses of the heart, which a transcendentalist has to give up. And in this chapter, the 15th chapter, which you just passed 10 verses ago, in this chapter, in the 15th chapter, in the first 5 verses, it is described the process how to become free from these weaknesses of the heart. And the rest of the chapter, from the 6th through to the end, discusses Purushottama Yoga. Therefore, it is very highly recommended to read this chapter during the Adi Mass, which comes every few years, 2-3 years. The Purushottama Mass, the added Mass, the added month, as we have also in Germany the Schaltjahr. So we have in Sanskrit also a Schaltjahr, so it is the Purushottama Mass. Very nice. But this was a topic of the past days when I was not here. Now we continue with the heavy chapter 16, the divine and demoniac natures. Krishna speaks about demons without compromise, explaining to us what is the demoniac nature. And today we hear the verse number 10. Starting with a very significant word appropriate to demoniac and sinful qualities. Kamam ashritya dushpuram. Kamam ashritya dushpuram. Dampa mana Madanvitaha. Dampa mana madanvitaha. Mohad grihitva sat grahan. Mohad grihitva sat grahan. Pravartante Shuchi Vrataha. Pravartante Shuchi Vrataha. Kamam ashritya dushpuram. Damphamanamadhanvitaha Mohat grihitva satkrahan Pravartante shuchivrataha Kamam ashritya dushpuram Damphamanamadhanvitaha Mohat grihitva satkrahan Pravartante shuchivrataha. Anyone wants to chant? Please chant. Prabhus? Den Vers chanten, so wie er auf der Tafel steht.
Okay, alles. Ja.
Kamam ashritya dushpuram Damphamanamadhanvitaha Grihitva sat Mohat grihitva satkrahan Pravartante shuchivrataha. Matajis, ladies. Kamam ashritya dushpuram Damphamanamadhanvitaha Mohat grihitva satkrahan Pravartante shuchivrataha. Kamam, lust, ashritya, taking shelter of, dushpuram, how do you pronounce it? Insatiable. Dampha, of pride, mana, and false prestige, mada anvitaha, absorbed in the conceit, mohat, by illusion, grihitva, taking, asat, non-permanent, grahan, things, pravartante, they flourish, ashuchi, to the unclean, vrataha, avowed. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Purport. The demoniac mentality is described here. The demons have no satiation for their lust. They will go on increasing and increasing their insatiable desires for material enjoyment. Although they are always full of anxieties on account of accepting non-permanent things, they still continue to engage in such activities out of illusion. They have no knowledge and cannot tell that they are heading the wrong way. Accepting non-permanent things, such demoniac people create their own God, create their own hymns, and chant accordingly. The result is that they become more and more attracted to two things: sex enjoyment and accumulation of material wealth. The word ashuchi vrataha, unclean vows, is very significant in this connection. Such demoniac people are only attracted by wine, women, gambling, and meat eating. Those are their ashuchi. unclean habits induced by pride and false prestige. They create some principles of religion which are not approved by the Vedic injunctions. Although such demoniac people are most abominable in the world, by artificial means the world creates a false honor for them. Although they are gliding toward hell, they consider themselves very much advanced. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananshana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Putale Srimate Bhakti Pushana Swamin Iti Namine Prabhupada Susambandaya Sarvatra Gaura Kripadaya Satirishi Shakta Krishna Margashi Gurave Namaste. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Putale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschadite Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We repeat the verse. Kamam ashritya dushpuram dambhamanamadhan vitaha mohat krihitva satkrahan pravartante shuchivrataha. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Hare Krishna. So asking for the blessings of all assembled Vaishnavas to be able to talk about this verse from the Bhagavad Gita and this section, which is a very, how to say, which is a very ein sehr entblößendes Kapitel, ist das Wort, das mir gerade dazu einfällt. We hear here about demonic qualities, and of course when we hear about demons, we think of whatever we have seen as young girls or boys in a television, creatures with horns and reptiles and so on. Oh, it's even a very fascinating topic nowadays, reptiles, human reptiles, and not at all a secret nowadays. I was very astonished when we were in Sankirtan. In one city I saw an advertisement for mobile phones on the window of a mobile phone shop. And the advertisement was that there was one, you couldn't see the head, you couldn't see the feet, you could only see the middle part of these human beings and how they were grabbing to their trousers where the mobile phone was inside, like this, taking the mobile phone outside. This was the advertisement. And you could see on the right side the middle part of the body of a man, and then beside him you could see the middle part of another human-like creature with a trouser and with a shirt, but the hand was the hand of a reptile, and this reptile hand was grabbing to the trouser and getting the mobile phone. So it was a very interesting advertisement. I thought, wow, no secrets today anymore. Yeah? We are not alone in this world. It's not a secret anymore. Even it is advertised. In the business world, the question is, who is your client? Wer sind deine Klienten? Wer ist deine, wie sagt man, deine Zielgruppe? Zielgruppe. So it's not even in this regard a secret anymore. That on this planet Earth there are living many interesting creatures unknown to us, unknown to many of us, but revealed to us very openly in the Vedic scriptures. We don't need to surf and look for conspiracy theories and the dark sides of this world in the internet. We just have to grab the Srimad Bhagavatam and grab the Bhagavad Gita, and there it is revealed to us. Demoniac creatures in this universe, thousands and thousands of years ago, already acting. Maharaj Parikshit was killed by such a demonic creature called Takshaka. Takshaka, the reptile, the snake, the naga. Yes, this is for those who are into the topic. This is the slang. We are talking about the Nagas. And the Nagas were there already 5,000 years ago. Many, 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 many more than nowadays. Why? Because this one act of this one snake, Takshaka, killing Maharaj Parikshit, it created and awakened the Kshatriya fire in his ancestor, somehow King Janamejaya. Maharaj Parikshit was not the last one. He had the kings after him. They came, and one of the king was King Janamejaya. And he was very eager to hear about his forefathers. How did it come that they fought in the battle of Kurukshetra? What exactly happened on the battlefield in the war of Kurukshetra? And how did my forefathers die? Under which circumstances did they die there? And that were his questions. He was very interested in that. And when he learned how Maharaj Parikshit died, his Kshatriya spirit was awakened, because he learned that Maharaj Parikshit was killed in a very scrupulous way. He was killed by a person with a very very shameless character. That the history was that Maharaj Parikshit was cursed to be killed, and then when the curse was just to be fulfilled, because the snake came, Takshaka came, and he was on the way to Maharaj Parikshit, there came Kashyapa. And Kashyapa told Takshaka, I'm just on the way to save Maharaj Parikshit from your bite. I know you have a very powerful bite, and you are a very powerful snake, but I am not less powerful. If you bite Maharaj Parikshit, I am there to save him. Takshaka was asking him, what are you doing here, great sage Kashyapa? And he revealed to him, I'm going to stop you from your crucial work of killing the wonderful king, Maharaj Parikshit, with his great qualities. And Takshaka was demonic as he was laughing at him. What do you think? You don't know anything about the power of my poison. If I just bite this tree there, it will go into flames and burn into ashes. What do you want to save Maharaj Parikshit, who I'm going to bite intensely? And Kashyapa told him, okay, just do it. I will show you. So Takshaka, he was biting a tree. Just imagine such a tree there outside, standing here in Simhachalam, huge trees on the area. Still even, it's very beautiful. So just imagine, two people are standing there outside talking with each other, arguing about something. You're just watching and you don't know what they are talking about and what they are arguing. And then suddenly the one poison runs to such a huge tree and bites the tree like a vampire, a confused vampire, a little bit, maybe like a vampire on drugs or something like that. an LSD vampire. He's biting a tree, trying to suck some blood out of a tree. A confused party ecstasy vampire biting a tree. And suddenly the tree, not less in ecstasy, so to say, gets into flames, burns into ashes within a few seconds, And just imagine you watch all this, and the other person then speaking some powerful mantras, speaking some words, and suddenly, bang, the tree is again there. Reborn, God born again, as if nothing happened. That is what Kashyapa did. Takshaka, he showed his power by biting a tree. The tree just burned into ashes, and Kashyapa just told a few mantras, and simsalabim, the tree was again there. And Takshaka, in that moment, knew, oh, this sage is really that powerful. He could stop me from my cruel work of killing the king, Maharaj Parikshit. So, therefore, what did he do? What was his tactic? What was his way of being successful in his dark mission? It is mentioned here in the purport by Srila Prabhupada. What are the two things that demons are attached to, and what are the main things in their lives? They are mentioned in the purport. Yes?
Revenge.
Huh?
Revenge.
Okay. They don't want to forgive.
Yeah.
They want to have revenge. They cannot easily accept. They are very in their false ego. And if someone is hurting them or doing some unfair to them, they want to have revenge. And they cannot forgive. One of the symptoms of Brahmana, Vaishnava, is he forgives. He's forgiving. So the demons, they want to have revenge. Thank you. Nice point. But in the purport, there are two things mentioned. Which demons are attached? Yes, please.
They attack or run away like a reptilian brain box.
They attack and run away.
Yeah, one option is they attack the enemy, or when they see the enemy is too strong, they run away.
They run away. Okay. Okay, good, thank you. Yes?
They have no knowledge.
They have no knowledge. What do you mean with knowledge? What is knowledge?
Knowledge is Krishna consciousness.
Knowledge is Krishna consciousness. They have no Krishna consciousness. Yes, but Kamsa was very much Krishna conscious. He was thinking quite a lot about Krishna. He saw Krishna everywhere. He didn't see anything else than Krishna. Yeah, he was very much, Krishna, he was born, my death was born. What he did, he killed now this friend of mine, or killed this friend of mine. He was quite Krishna conscious, but he was not favorable Krishna conscious. He was thinking all the time of Krishna, but he was not thinking of Krishna as favorable. He was thinking of him as a demon, as an enemy. He thought of him as an enemy. It's not recommended to do this. Although it is Krishna conscious, but by Srila Rupa Goswami, our teachers, not recommended. We are meant to think of Krishna favorable. Anya pilashita shunyam jnana karmadya navidam anukulena Krishna nurshirnam bhaktir uttama. Devotional service, pure devotional service, is to serve Krishna without the contamination of jnana, knowledge, speculation. I want to have knowledge. I want to know. I don't want to believe. I want to know. Did you ever hear this from someone? Yes? You heard? You too? Everyone ever in your life told to you, I want to know. I don't want to believe. I want to know. Religion is such a strange thing. I want to believe. I want to have knowledge. That is the real thing. You know that. So that is attachment. Also, you want to have jnana. So you have to be free from this, and also you have to be free from karma, fruitive mentality, working and gaining something, and in this way serving Krishna in a favorable way for his pleasure. May Krishna be pleased, may Krishna be happy, may Krishna like what I do, how I try to serve him. Krishna's pleasure and happiness is my happiness and pleasure. That is what I live for, what I work for, what I spend everything I have for. Krishna's pleasure in that way. That is recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. But still, if you are a person with a lot of anger, with a lot of greed, with a lot of lust, whatever demonic quality it may be, if you have it, then, however, try to get the goal, the aim in life. I must attain Krishna. I must come to Krishna. Through lust, through anger, through greed, whatever it is, but I must attain Krishna. I must go to Krishna. I must find Krishna. I must see Krishna. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And that you have somehow or other get. And the result will be, you will become purified. You will become purified, and then if the moment is there when the Supreme Lord is offering a blessing, now you're there, now you have seen me, so what can I do for you? What is your desire? What is your wish? What do you desire? What is your wish? Then the only thing should be, please engage me in your loving devotional service. Please make me your servant. Would you like to have anything else? Money? Women? Gold? A universe? Would you like to have? No, please, just engage me in your loving service. Please make me the servant of your lotus feet. That is the mission of human life. There we should come into this platform. And it is really so powerful. Devotional service and service to Krishna and Krishna's lotus feet are really so powerful and wonderful that all these other things you can surpass easily. But the mistake was at Kashyapa, who was talking to Takshaka. He did not have that. He was bribed. Bestechen, he was bribed by Takshaka with money. What do you want to have? How much money do you want to have? Everyone has a price, they say in the material world. Everyone has a price, so they say. A devotee, no, the devotee has only Krishna's lotus feet. Whatever you want to offer to me, I don't care. I couldn't care less about material things. The whole material world actually can go wherever he wants to go. If Krishna himself doesn't care. It is said the whole material world. What is the whole material world? Is a 1/4 of the whole creation. 3/4 are the spiritual world. And in this material world, in this material quarter, this 1/4, all the material universes, they are collected and like mustard seeds. Mustard seeds, a huge bucket, a boat. Just imagine a huge amount, a huge ton of mustard seeds, tiny mustard seeds, many millions of mustard seeds. And each of these mustard seeds is like a universe. So if one such universe just accidentally gets lost or burns into ashes or whatever, Krishna does not even maybe recognize it. So what? One universe got lost. Who cares? Krishna couldn't care less. What happens in this material world? Krishna is so busy in being ecstatic and happy and being served in loving devotion and having loving relationship, which is so ecstatic, uncomparable. In the spiritual world, he's engaged in that. So whatever happens in the material world, couldn't care less. Let one universe go to hell. Let 2 universes burn into ashes. Let 3 universes being sold by some demon, whatever. Who cares? Krishna couldn't care less. So similarly, a devotee, you want to bribe me, you want to give me money, you want to give me that, you want to give me a universe, whatever you want to give, couldn't care less. It's not important in comparison to what a devotee has in his heart. He's always fixed on thoughts of Krishna and Krishna's lotus feet and how to serve Krishna and Krishna's pleasure and waiting for reciprocation of Krishna, how he shows me, oh, I like your service, I like what you have done, I like it very much, please continue, please do more for me like that. And the devotee becomes inspired, yes, let me do more for you, Krishna. What can I do for you? Please give me service. What can I do for you? I want to do more for you. So in this way, a devotee lives completely in his world. This person is living in his own world. You ever heard this saying? Of course, if a person is completely out of this reality, he's somewhere. So he's in his world. He's living in his own world. A devotee is living in his own world. But this is the real world. And everyone who comes in contact with such a weird, crazy person, not living in this world, but verrückt, he is crazy in English, but German is a little bit better. You say he is verrückt. He came into another reality. If you have the possibility to have association with such a person, you should pray to Krishna, please then let me have the correct attitude. Please give me the intelligence. From Krishna comes intelligence, comes knowledge, comes forgetfulness. So please Krishna, if the golden opportunity is there to have the association of your pure devotee who is completely absorbed in thoughts of you, please at that moment give me the intelligence to act correctly, to act rightly, to act in such a way that it is beneficial for me. Even though it may be beyond all rationality. Everything which is normal in the material world is then not valued anymore. It doesn't. It's not accounting anymore. It's not these rules are not working anymore, because it's completely on the material, spiritual platform, beyond birth and death. And how would you say in German? We say jenseits von Raum und Zeit. In English, the book is called Easy Journey to Other Planets. So if we have the opportunity to get an easy trip, an easy journey to another planet, we should take this, even immediately this opportunity. And this opportunity comes in contact with such a weird, crazy, verrückte person who is completely on the spiritual platform, absorbed in thoughts of Krishna all the time, in complete love, ecstasy, and happiness, and just this longing for one thing, serving Krishna more and more. And the right attitude then is tatvidi paripatina pariprashna sevaya upadekshanti kenam gyaninas tattvadarshinaha, serving and pleasing by service, and when the opportunity is there, asking question, having exchange, talking, benefiting from this of this high consciousness that this person has by talking, by having exchange, by asking question, relevant questions, important questions, not like blah blah blah, where do you come from, blah blah blah, why do you have so much money, blah blah blah, what did you do when you were a child, blah blah blah, how was it when you came with 60 years to America in old age and no one was there except the hippies, and blah blah blah, like all these questions Srila Prabhupada was asked when he came in contact with all the nice interviewers. And Prabhupada would ask his servants when they told him, Prabhupada, we have an interview for you. Prabhupada was very open. He was like, oh, nice, an interview. We can use the opportunity to preach Krishna consciousness and share it with the whole world. And then once a devotee told him, Prabhupada, it is a woman. And then Prabhupada said, oh, again, it's all the time the same, interview with women. Why do you have so much money? Where do you get the money from? What did you do when you were a child? Why all the hippies? And always the same strange questions, what human life are not meant for. But it was already too late. The interviewer was already there. His servant Rameshwara already came with the woman interviewer and came into the room, sitting down, and Prabhupada, okay, now I cannot send her away. It's already too late. The thing is already going on. So, okay, let's start the interview. When did you come to America? How do you get all the money from? If you travel all over the world, it must cost a lot of money. Where did you get the money from? And so on and so on. And at that time, Prabhupada was not tolerant. He was countering immediately, why are you asking? And the person would continue with his interview. Can you say something about your childhood? How did you start with the Krishna consciousness? And Prabhupada would say, why should I tell you? And then everyone knew who was listening to the interview, oh, Prabhupada is now a little bit annoyed. He doesn't want to go into these stupid questions. He wants to have sober intelligence questions. And then the person would say, well, just like that, I am curious. If you wish to talk about it, and Prabhu would say, why should I wish to talk about it? And everyone knew at that moment, oh, this is very serious. Prabhupada is not in the mood of such a thing now. He is not in the mood of such a thing now. And somehow or other, the person would continue to talk to Prabhupada. And somehow or other, the topic came from Prabhupada's money and Prabhupada's movement to the question that, or the fact that we are not the body. And the person would then argue, so okay, if I understand I am not the body, so what then? And then Prabhupada will wake up and say, oh, now see, that is intelligent question. This is a good question. All this other stuff, that is nonsense, we hear all the time, but this is a good question. If I understand I am not the body, so what then? And then is the question of acting accordingly. And what is the activity on the non-bodily platform? The platform of the spiritual platform is the platform of Krishna consciousness. This is what this movement is about, to offer to the people the opportunity to act on the platform of the soul. This is the activity of Krishna consciousness. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Associating with the devotees, eating together with the devotees, taking prasadam, asking questions about the philosophy, singing, dancing, cleaning the floor, cleaning the temple, going out on the street and chant Hare Krishna on the street. In this way, participate in this movement, become a member of this movement, become curious about this movement, and see yourself after some time how you are engaged in activities which are completely on another platform than the nonsense you have done before, whatever it might have been. Maybe you have been a hippie, maybe you were taking drugs, maybe you were wandering around the world, looking there and there for women, sex, wealth and so on. Maybe you were working in a huge skyscraper. Basically, the same nonsense. Now you understand, because you're acting on a spiritual platform. It is basically the same animalistic way of life. The ants are coming together and getting the small sticks and bringing it to the ant hill and building a huge ant hill. And the Americans are bringing the iron and cement, and they are building huge skyscrapers in a huge city. And if you are 10,000 or 20,000 feet high in the sky, you look to the city, what they have built, basically not different than what the ants are doing with their anthill. They are building an anthill, and the citizens, they are building a city. The consciousness is the same. The consciousness is the same, it's not different. Building houses, building cities, living there, eating, mating, sense gratification, gratifying your lust, developing more and more demoniac qualities, like this, basically material life. No happiness anywhere to be found. So therefore, this Krishna consciousness movement is the solution for this material misery, which Srila Prabhupada explains to us in this previous chapter, which comes from the weakness of the heart. I want to possess, I want to control, I want to be the Lord, I want to be the master, I want to be the king, I want to be the chef, I want to be the boss. That thing basically has to be destroyed. It has to be, maybe even violently, with violence, has to be destroyed. Maybe with a crisis in your life, it has to be destroyed. And in the end, it will be good. Your false ego was completely being finished and destroyed. You are not as good as you think. Your family is not as perfect and nice as you think after that shameful activity happened in your family. Now you feel ashamed for being born in such a family, being part of such a family, but it is good for your false ego. You are not as good as you think. Now you are suitable for asking serious questions. Now you are qualified to accept the association of devotees and listen carefully and do what they say. Not just think, that's what they're doing, I do my thing. No, surrender. Now you are qualified to surrender when your false ego is smashed. And the false ego, very, 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 very subtle. Oh, very subtle. Even you might think, I am a Krishna conscious person. I am a devotee. I am a brahmachari. I am a sannyasi. I am a wonderful grihastha. I am such a good devotee. I'm doing just good. Oh, false ego. Has to be destroyed. Must be smashed. Must be. Otherwise, no spiritual progress possible. It must be destroyed. And that's Krishna's mercy. He destroys our false ego. He does so. Sometimes he does very brutal. He can do very brutal. We heard stories, it can be out, but it can also be very nice. Krishna can do it so nicely. You think, wow, Krishna is doing such an intense job in such a nice way. How is it possible? That is only possible for Krishna. No one else can do such an intense thing in such a charming way, as Krishna. That is only possible for Krishna. Therefore Krishna is my Lord. No one else is able to do it so nicely as Krishna does. Therefore, Krishna, you are my Lord. Always, forever. No one else can beat you. No one else can surpass you in your qualities that you have. You will always be my Lord. That is stated in the scriptures, and now I experience a little bit, so just let me accept it. Krishna, you are the Lord, you are the Supreme. Let me just accept it and follow this wonderful process of Krishna consciousness and surrender and accept that my real nature is to be a servant of Krishna, to serve, to think of Krishna, and to get rid of this garbage that I have collected after so many years in this material world. So many years, so much garbage we have collected. Really, we don't even recognize it. We don't even see it, because Krishna is so merciful. He lets us not see it. He's like, I will not yet show you all this garbage because it would be a little bit too much. Just continue, living nicely in this movement and continue. And after some time, gradually, I will give you the mercy. I will give you the purification. It must come. It must be there. Otherwise, how will you make progress? But just in such a way that you can digest it, And in this way, we have to understand this movement is a wonderful movement. This is the movement of the fortunate souls who want to have the real thing in life, who got the mercy already and in the sense of false ego being destroyed, of crisis, of terrible things happening in life, terrible things you have realized and seen in your life, and you have experienced and felt, especially in your life. You feel it, and that makes you really seriously and sincerely surrender and approach Krishna in that honest and humble way. Krishna, please, I really mean it serious now. Please accept me. Kindly accept me, please. I don't know any other shelter. Your devotee has come and has told me it is you who I should surrender to. It is you who are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is you who everyone worships. So now just let me accept it. Let me not challenge it anymore. Let me not doubt it anymore. Let me not be anymore so foolish, so demoniac. I understand now. I have to become humble. I have to become a devotee. Seriously, let me bow down before you, and please be honest to you, and let me be honest to you, and please, you please be kind to me if you want. Please be merciful to me and accept me. You can do anything, whatever you want. You could even make me die, whatever you want. If Krishna wants, it will happen. Whatever you want, may it happen. But please, please engage me in your service. Please take me to your abode, to your higher energy, your higher realm. Let me not rot in this material world, in this illusion that I am living in. Let me be a seeker of the truth. Please let me be honest to myself, and let me be honest to you and everyone else. Please give me the real thing. I wanna have the real thing at any cost. Not a life of self-deceivement, or how to say self-deceit. I don't know how to say Selbstbetrug in English. Anyone knows what it means? No. Anyway, so this is therefore in this regard wonderful movement, wonderful things happening here, the real thing, and so many different people coming here, so many different people coming together and having Krishna in the center. It's amazing, astonishing. And therefore, in this regard, we can only say one thing. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Pranat Lakshmana Singhadev Bhagavan ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo, Kandarat Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you very much. I would like to stop here. If anyone wants to ask a question, highly welcome. Otherwise, yes, please.
You mentioned about the interview with Prabhupada, the woman.
Yeah.
We saw this Prabhupada's lecture on Monday. I think this was the sequence, but there was like a devotee or servant of Prabhupada, and he said maybe the people want to hear about how you spent your childhood.
Yeah. Yes.
So, I don't think that I personally that is such a stupid question. Maybe because they always ask the same thing, and this is what you meant.
Yeah.
But the servant of Prabhupada had this point that it would be interpreted,
Yeah.
but the public would.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It sounds really very much that it is the same interview that you have seen maybe and I have read. Yeah, it was Rameshwara. He was a little bit trying to get the interview to still come up and being done. Prabhupada he was not into it. He didn't want to. But Rameshwara, he was trying really. So Prabhupada, maybe. And then somehow he got to the books. He came then somehow to the books. And then slowly it started. Prabhupada, the books, yeah, that's very nice. And then this question, and then suddenly this question, so okay, I'm not a body or something like that, and what then? And then Prabhupada, he was like, okay, what then? That is a good question, that is intelligent. And so, it's very interesting, that Prabhupada was like, not into it, he was like kind of against, but his servants, they tried, and then it worked. So, and don't give up. If you are going for the real thing, so sometimes it's also a test, We have some really be stubborn, and try from every angle. Try and don't give up, and then finally, and the nectar came out, And the interview was in the end a nice interview, and kind of everyone was happy. So, yeah, it's very. So, but also, we have to, somehow understand when it is appropriate, when is it not appropriate. That was appropriate. It was for the sake of preaching. It was for the sake of sharing the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and spreading the message of Krishna consciousness, and therefore it was worth to not give up, but to try. And so therefore it's very nice. So all glories to the devotees, to Srila Prabhupada's servants, who didn't give up, who went for the right thing, and it was the right thing. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. Someone else would like to add something?
Maybe one question about the Nagas.
Oh yeah.
Is there something more except the Canto 5 from the Srimad Bhagavatam to read about them? Or I ask myself, the Nagas, they come from another planet system, or is really the inner Earth from our planet? There's not really sure for me what they mean.
Well, okay, the question is, where can we read more about the Nagas? Because we were talking about them, except in the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm not sure whether in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam there is so much about the Nagas. There is a lot about other planetary systems, and the structure of our universe. But especially if you're eager for something like that, then I would recommend also Mahabharata, to read the Mahabharata. And there is especially this story of Janamejaya and King Parikshit, more elaborately explained. And this story is very nice because Janamejaya, he then started a huge fire yajna, and he wanted to kill and burn all the snakes and nagas to ashes. He wanted to kill all of them. And only he as the king was able to do such a fire yajna. And then it is very in detail explained. Even the names are mentioned of all these heavy nagas. The names and also how they look like are explained and what they do, so what their activities are. And it's quite detailed, explained. So it is enough that you know that these are really heavy personalities, not of our race. It's something really extraterritorial, how do you say, extraterrestrial, really heavy stuff. But then the conclusion is also a very nice one, because when Janamejaya did this whole yajna, the Nagas, they were also praying, because they felt they are going to die. Each and every one, they all fell into the fire. It was such a powerful fire. Even though they were so powerful, they could not resist. They had to die one after another. That was the goal of this fire yajna. And they started also to pray, and they wanted to be rescued. And then it was the blessing in the end of Brahma that they will be saved. And there was one Brahmana, his name was Astika. And Astika was a very famous boy. He was a son of Jaradkaru. And Jaradkaru was a very, very big ascetic. He was just living for austerity. That was his life. Austerity. That was his meaning, the meaning of his life. But somehow or other, then he came in contact with his ancestors, and they convinced him that he should enter into the Grihastha ashram and get some children, which would be good for the whole dynasty. So he did that under amazing strict rules. He went into the Grihastha ashram, and it is a very lehrreiche Geschichte. It's a story that teaches us a lot about Vedic culture and strictness and living, how to live together, especially family, woman and man, especially nowadays it's a weird topic, partially. But in the Vedic, he was such a strict personality, Jaradkaru. He was only living for austerity. He said, okay, he will do that, but only under one circumstance, that at that moment, when the wife will once say one word, like one thing, like aber, but, or something like that, immediately Grihastha ashram finished. He will leave her and he will continue with his austerities. That was his the deal he made. And that he'd made. And then once it happened, like now, you see the sun is going down. It's a little bit bright, it's a little bit light is there still. It's like dawn, And such a moment, this is the moment for the prayers for the sages, when they do their prayers. And then one night, at one dawn, Jaradkaru was sleeping on the lap of his wife. His wife was also called Jaradkaru. That was another deal. The wife must have the same name as him. Jaradkaru and Jaradkaru. So Jaradkaru was sleeping on the lap of Jaradkaru, the wife, and the wife was awake and she knew this is the time for the prayers of her husband. And these prayers are so important for such a sage. But at the same time he is sleeping. What shall she do? Shall she wake him up and tell him he should do his prayers? Then he might become angry because she woke him up. But if she does not wake him up, he might become angry afterwards because she did not wake him up and remind him of his prayers, because he failed to do his prayers. What is worse? What would be worse? So then she thought, okay, it's better that he become angry than instead he will not do his prayers. She thought like that. A man in the mode of goodness must do his prayers. So it's better that he becomes angry than he does not do his prayers. That's how she thought. And she woke him up. My dear husband, wake up, it's time for your prayers. And he was sleeping and he woke up and immediately said, what do you think who you are? You just woke me up. And immediately Grihastha ashram, finito. Finished. That was the thing. If she says one thing, one word, one thing too much, the whole thing stopped immediately, So he quitted the whole thing. She was already pregnant. He was a very powerful ascetic, a very powerful ascetic, and he just left her, and he continued with his life of austerity, no compromises, no argumentation. And she stood there, and she accepted somehow or other. She was pregnant, and she also already, when she was pregnant, she was shining like, her womb was shining like the sun, so powerful. He said to her when he left, don't be sad, your son will be a very powerful brahmana, because he was such a powerful ascetic. He left with these words. And when the boy was born, they named him Astika. And Astika, he was very powerful brahmana. And Astika was the only one who was able to stop this powerful fire sacrifice, this fire yajna of King Janamejaya. Just at that moment, when the one snake who was the reason for all this thing, namely Takshaka, who was biting Maharaj Parikshit, was in the sky, just on the way to fall into the fire, Astika came and sat down at the fire, and everyone else was looking at him, and he was speaking very nice and sweet words to Janamejaya, to the king. And he said, oh, you are such a nice boy, such a pure-hearted brahmana. We can tell just by the way how you are speaking. Just by your presence, this fire yajna is successful. So therefore, all the advisors of the king, they told him, it is your duty to give him a blessing. The king must give such a pure brahmana a blessing. It is your duty. And the king, Janamejaya, said, okay, you are advising me, I shall do it. My dear Astika, you are such a pure boy. What is your desire? Whatever it may be, whatever riches you want to have, whatever opulences you want to have, just tell me, I shall give you everything what you want to have. And at that moment, Astika said, let now no more snakes fall into the fire. Let the fire sacrifice stop. And everyone was like, oh my God, just at the moment when Takshaka was there and falling into the fire. How is it possible? But the king promised. So therefore, let it be so. And at that moment, the fire sacrifice stopped. And all the snakes were like, just at the the last moment, that fire sacrifice was really going to burn all the worlds into ashes until all the snakes would die. Even Indra with his whole kingdom was on the way to fall into the fire. Such a powerful fire sacrifice it was, And they were like, at the last moment, thank you. So Astika, whoever remembers that Astika stopped the fire sacrifice of King Janamejaya, he shall never be afraid of any naga and ali snake. If you remember that Astika stopped the fire sacrifice, no naga, no snake, no human reptoid can ever harm you. If the snake who is attacking you still tries to attack this person who says that Astika stopped the fire sacrifice of King Janamejaya, if he still wants to attack, the head of the snake shall immediately break into thousands of pieces. And that blessing was given by Vasuki, like the number one of the snakes, Vasuki. So he gave this blessing that no one should be afraid of the nagas and the reptoids and the snakes, who remembers that Astika the powerful son of Jaratkaru, stopped the fire sacrifice of King Janamejaya. So, of Pataloka. Okay, thank you. The lowest planetary systems is Vasuki. Yes. Satyaloka is top. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So in this way, Hare Krishna.
I think you were asking about the lokas, right? He's asking about Nagas where it came.
Oh yeah, he was. But maybe let us.
From the Pata lokas, like we have a lokas, right? Bhuloka. On the top we say all these lokas, like Bhuloka, Bholoka, Swargaloka, other lokas. And down we have a Patala, Vitala, Talatala, Rasatala, and it ends with the Pata loka. So we lost two lokas like Mahatala, Talatala, Rasatala, Patala. These lokas will have a different types of nagas, multi-headed and these all.
Thank you.
I think that is the question you asked, I think.
Yeah.
So they come from there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they come from there, but the Kali Yuga means also that the influence of the lower planetary systems is here on Earth. So they are not only there, somewhere far away, but the Kali Yuga means they also have access to the Earth.
Yeah.
But what is the solution for this misery we are in? The Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah. Full devotion and full devotion.
Yes, the Sankirtan movement turns demons into devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't kill the demons, he kills the demonic qualities. So whoever may be outside there, what shall you do? Yaridekataika Krishna Upatesha, Amaragya Gurudhara Desha. Preach to everyone and tell to everyone the message that Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And in this way, deliver everyone in this country. So whoever, whatever it may be, actually is a devotee of Krishna. That is our mission, to repeat, to speak about Krishna, Krishna consciousness to everyone and make them chant Hare Krishna, make them eat prasadam, make them visit the temple, and this way become happy and become glorious in this life. Hare Krishna. Let us go for this mission. Huh?
Yes.
Hare Bol, I ask you for your blessings for this. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.